In this video, we will explore the commutative property of multiplication. So this is commutative. So what is the commutative property of multiplication? It says that if you have A times B, the answer to A times B is the same as the answer to B times A. Take an example. So if we have 8 times 3, which is 24, that is the same as 3 times 8, which is also 24. So why does this make sense? Take a look at this rectangle. It looks like it's standing up. Now I'll turn this rectangle around and it looks like it's laying down. Even though the rectangle looks different because it's turned around, it's really the same rectangle. Let's now describe these rectangles. So let's look at the first rectangle. It has 5 rows. So these are the 5 rows. And each row has 3 squares in it. So 1 square, 2 squares, and 3 squares. So to find the number of squares in this rectangle, we have 5 rows and each row has 3 squares in it. So we are really taking 3 5 times. So it's 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, and that is equal to 15. Now in the second rectangle, there are 3 rows and each row has 5 squares in it. And to find the number of squares in this rectangle, we have 3 rows and each row has 5 squares in it. So it's 5 taken 3 times. And that is really 5 plus 5 plus 5. And that is equal to 15. Since these two rectangles are essentially the same rectangles but just turned around, the number of squares in them are also the same. So we have this rectangle has 5 times 3, that is 15 squares. So let me write that down, 5 times 3. And this rectangle has 3 times 5, again 15. So 5 times 3 is the same as 3 times 5. And that is essentially what the commutative property of multiplication is. It says that A times B is the same as B times A. Students sometimes find the word commutative difficult to remember. The way I think of it is I think of the word commute. Commute means to travel back and forth. So the way I think of it is if you have A times B, A travels to B's place and B travels to A's place. So they exchange places and become B times A, but their value stays the same.